Hi, my name is Autumn Campbell, and I'm going to be talking about the discussion for week 4. So 3 aha moments that I had during this class and that were helpful during this class are the learning maps, understanding my students' assets, and the difference between accommodations and modifications. So I have some notes here about how I felt about them and how they were useful to me. So starting with creating a learning map, this is something that was new to me and that I had not really done before, but I think it's a great resource and a great tool. I'm always looking for something that can help me stay on pace and can help me stay on track when I'm doing my lessons. And that's a great layout for putting the standards and for all of the information that I need for the concept and for the lesson, for the unit, plus information about my students. So that is really great, and I actually plan on using that in the future. I also like how it helps to organize the ideas and the layout for the lesson, and also helps me to find important information before I even start teaching. So I really loved the idea of the learning maps. The second thing that I really found that was helpful and really insightful in this class was understanding my students' assets, which was in the Learning Maps Part 2. This is something that I really enjoyed doing. I think it's so important to understand your students' assets and their skills and what they excel at. It can help you have your students be encouraged in the classroom and confident. And it also helps me to understand what learning strategies would work best for them. So I really enjoyed diving deeper into what my students excel at and what those skills what skills they have coming into my classroom. The last aha moment for me was learning about the difference between accommodations and modifications. I think that's something that can really get confused or is not often understood correctly. Accommodations are how students learn and how that can be changed. And the modifications are what students learn. For example, an accommodation would not change the standard or not change the concept that the students are learning, but a modification would. It would change the rigor that the student would be learning with, or it would change the concept to be more simple for that student. Something that I really found important about knowing the difference between accommodations and modifications is it really helps me to understand what my IEP students need, whether they have an IEP and a 504 or just a 504 or just an IEP. It was really good to be able to see what the differences are and what those students need, because that's what's going to help them excel in my class. Also, it was really cool to understand deeper the differences between those two things so that I don't make the mistake of creating an accommodation that's really modifying what the student is learning, and vice versa, creating a modification that's really not changing the standard or the concept, but is more like an accommodation. So being able to see how different those are and what their different purposes are will help me to keep them straight and make sure that I'm giving students accommodations who need them and not modifying what they're learning. So this class had a lot of great information and I learned a lot, and I'll also be posting my learning map from week 2, and I look forward to hearing from the rest of my classmates.